we'll get this going here. 1 minute late, but wanted to make sure we're live on Facebook. So while that's going, I will introduce myself. I'm Nate Jones, co-founder of Structurally. We have Austin from Dippidi and Daniel Lowe from Green Room. Guys, how's it going? Welcome. Let's kick things off.
Yeah, it's going well. Very, very excited.
Absolutely. Very excited to be here, guys.
Cool. Well, this is our live webinar on how real estate teams are using AI to generate and convert $5 million leads. We're going to jump right into it with a little agenda so you're aware of what's going on. Want to keep this to 50 minutes or less to get you in and out. But we want to cover quick history on AI and GPT, which is the buzzword today. Why it matters, how it works with your CRM and your paid ads. We want to give you a live demo and then hear about Daniel Lowe's story with Green Room LA and open it up to Q&A at the end. So we'll dive into things. I wanted to give some backstory to start on the history of GPT and AI. Everyone's heard of ChatGPT now, just laying it out there. Pretty known in the space, but not sure if everyone knew GPT technology itself has been around for a while now. Started with GPT-1 in 2018, all the way up to GPT-3 in 2020, and now ChatGPT in 2022. You can see it's just gotten bigger and bigger model-wise. GPT, fun fact of the day, there's going to be a quiz at the end. And you can brag about this to your friends. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer Model. So it's using a bunch of data and it's trying to turn that data into something else based on all of that data that it's been trained on from essentially the internet. It's where they get a lot of their data from. So now you know a little bit about the history of GPT, so you can sound really smart to all your friends. A fun fact for you guys is Structurally, where I work, has actually been using GPT-2 since 2019. So I like to say we know a thing or two about this space. We've built our own model. So OpenAI invented GPT. That doesn't necessarily mean they own it. It is an open source model. Anyone can build on GPT to their heart's content. We did that for GPT-2. Like you said, or like you saw here, GPT-3 is way too big for almost anyone to build on because it's massive. Structurally took a GPT-2 model, trained it on a bunch of our own data. You see like 30 million messages where we were converting words into computer readable terms. So no, I need a lender gets turned into fill slot, lender status, false, financing status, not approved. And that data in turn retrains our model, which helps us generate responses. So we know a thing or two about GPT. It's a really big model. It's really important. And we just wanted to give you some context about where we've come from and where we're going. I also want to give you an idea of why lead qualification matters. We've seen from Inman, this is an internal study that they've done, that agents spend a minimum $7,500 to generate 5 qualified leads. So you can kind of see the math there. At a 1% conversion rate, you need 100 leads. Cost per lead is $55 a lead. The total cost is $5,500 for those 100 leads. You're going to convert 5 maybe in a good hour. At $100 an hour, it costs you $2,000 to convert those 5. $7,500 all in to generate and convert a lead, 5 leads. So just keep that in mind. It's pretty expensive to do this job, to generate and convert leads, which is exactly what we're going to talk about. While you're thinking of that, I did want you guys to take some notes down, like screenshot this, answer these questions, like this is your homework. Try and figure these answers out so you have a starting point. Go into your CRM, answer these questions, and let us know either on the call, later on, or just on an email, because it's just a good thought experiment to go through and try and answer these questions. so you can see where you're at now. If you don't have this data, you should, because it helps you understand your funnel really well and where you can improve. So with that, we wanted to talk about how AI can actually qualify leads that are being generated through paid ads with Austin.
Yep. Awesome, man. Thank you, Nate. That was awesome to see the history there. I'll be completely honest. I need to almost rewatch this to hear the acronym of what GPT means, because I did not know that prior to this. And that is a pretty impressive combo of an acronym there. So as I dive in here, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the philosophy we have. For a lot of people that may not know, we are now an official reseller of Structurally. So there is a Dippidi AI assistant that is powered by Structurally that we are offering out to all of our clients, and the various CRMs that we can integrate with. One of which that you'll probably see a lot today is Follow Up Boss, but there is a list of many others that we can integrate with as well. Sierra Interactive, as you can see, is also on here as well. So a little bit about what happens. What we've been seeing as we've been running this, I think we've been a reseller now since November. We've been seeing that we're converting 17% of the Dippidi leads into qualified prospects, which is awesome, because basically I want to talk through the journey here. Is that Dippidi will first create the lead. And the way we create leads is we usually use Google PPC, Facebook, and Instagram as different lead sources to bring them into your CRM. So the big thing that we really like to do is have a multi-channel advertising strategy in place. So that could be where, imagine the journey as somebody, intentionally searches for homes for sale in Santa Monica per se. And they then land on your website where you have an IDX that has a list of the homes for sale in Santa Monica. A registration page would pop up there where we're able to then capture that lead's information. Let's say that you drove 100 clicks there and 10 of them became a lead. So you have a 10% conversion rate on your form. They go into your CRM and immediately Structurally is following up with them for 12 months. Every single lead that enters there gets followed up with for 12 months that they're responding to, nurturing, and trying to qualify to dictate if they are indeed interested in buying or buying and selling. But the 90 people that clicked and left, we also set up campaigns on Facebook and Instagram for remarketing. So we're trying to bring those website visitors back to the site to convert again. So we can minimize any waste in your ad spend and try to increase as much conversion rate as possible to generate leads and feed Structurally to be able to qualify and nurture. So a little bit on the next slide here, we're going to be talking about all the scripts that they have. The system is, just as you saw, they had like 30 million different conversations they've had. So now they've been able to build 100 plus pre-built scripts for many, many types of real estate leads. Whether you get a new lead from us, or you maybe don't use all your new leads based off of the amount you have, you can also instill and input old existing leads that you may need to try to revive and see if you can get in conversation with. There's many things like property inquiry leads. You can do seller leads, investor leads, mortgage leads, or you can even do custom scripts, which is actually something we did for Daniel as well, that we can talk a little bit to through a custom lead source that he had. But basically what happens is these leads are going to come in. You're going to get 12 months of follow-up with them. And the system right now is getting a 57% engagement rate. 17% of people are agent ready. They're actually qualified. They're asking for questions. They want to talk to someone. And 99% are actually believing this is a real human. When you see these conversations, it's pretty remarkable. I bet Daniel's going to speak to that as well here today, just about how good this AI really is at having a conversation and feeling like an authentic human. Only you're not going to let anything slip through the cracks, because we as humans, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. We can't always stay on top of things and always remember to follow up that lead when we're also trying to create content for social media or serving the client, taking them on showings and going to listing appointments. You just don't have enough time to remain as consistent as we think we can, but the AI does. So it's pretty amazing. So next, I kind of want to pass it back to you, Nate. I want to talk a little bit about how can AI work for your business?
Yeah. I want to kind of give everyone an ideal workflow of how this type of technology can work with the tools you're already using, like your CRM, your lead gen tools, your marketing automation tools. But quick, I just want to take a step back and kind of recap what we've covered. Essentially, the reason we're here for this webinar is to help you understand a little bit about what's going on in the AI landscape, especially. I'm sure everyone's heads are flying around. How can I use ChatGPT for this? How can I do it for this? Can I just use it on my own? Can I use it to follow up with leads? The answer is yes, you can do it for anything. And that's overwhelming. You can use it to write content for you. One of the ways that Structurally has implemented it alongside Dippidi with lead gen is to qualify your leads. And that's to have a two-way conversation and follow up with those leads. Now that happens because we've built the messaging infrastructure to text and email those leads that Dippidi is generating. So then we have the back and forth conversation powered by GPT technology. So Structurally in and of itself is not using any sort of chat GPT out of the box, but it's the same underlying tech. So that's to say, very simply, with something like Structurally, you get GPT AI in your CRM to qualify your leads, just as a super high level overview of where we're at today. And this is how it looks in your CRM. Once a lead comes in from Dippidi or from wherever, or that already exists in your CRM, old leads, you can enroll it into Structurally with a tag or a button or automatically. So you say, okay, this is a buyer. Like this example here is actually a buyer. And it immediately enrolled that lead into a text and email outreach campaign until they respond. So we reach out to them for 12 months until they respond. And at that point, we have a two-way conversation. And that can all be done through your CRM. Ideally, we never want you logging into Structurally ever, no matter what. We just want you in your CRM and managing things that way. So that leads off to the races. Like I said, it's as simple as clicking a button to enroll them manually into a type of conversation that you want. We reach out over a long period of time. You can see some example drip messages there in the middle. And then once the lead responds, this is really important, we have a two-way conversation. I'm sure everyone here has heard of speed to lead. That's kind of an older phrase, I would say, 2012 to 2015, 2016 era. That was very important. It still is. But what's actually more important is speed to response. Everyone has autoresponders today. Most leads have sniffed that out. But where you really need to shine is, okay, the lead responded, get back to them right away and have a very human-like and tailored conversation to their needs. So you can see here in the example on the right, thanks, honestly, was looking a bit, expecting a new baby girl in April, want to see a bigger place. Thanks for letting me know. Well, congrats on the child. Totally understand. And then so on and so forth. A lot of this conversation, like you saw, is extremely human-like. 0.1% of all of our millions of conversations, leads have said something like, hey, are you a bot? Are you a human? What are you? So 0.1% of millions of conversations, we can actually analyze and see that, and we try and improve that. But we actually have responses for that too. So usually when people say, are you an AI? We have a response that's like, oh, I'm an assistant here with Austin's team. Just wanted to make sure you know that I can help with any of your buying and selling needs. More often than not, we actually get them to believe us when they say that. So that 0.1% is actually probably a little high, I would say, on the determinative human side of things. So it's really human-like, but it just means, like Austin said, your leads aren't slipping through the cracks. What's really important too is our team kind of likes to think of this process like sifting gold from dirt. Essentially, you just put in a bunch of pay dirt leads, raw leads, whether they're new or old, and we surface up the hot ones, basically. And we do that by adding tags in your CRM mapped to what we call stages. So we have not responded, not interested, interested in needs agent follow-up. Like Austin mentioned, 17% of all of our leads become agent ready qualified, which means they're raising their hand. They want to take a next step. We actually add all of those stages as tags in your CRM and notify you. with certain things. You'll actually see kind of an example of one of those in the live demo. But basically, when a lead is agent ready, the bells and whistles go off. Hey, call the lead, jump into the conversation now. And that's ultimately our goal with this service is you put a lead in from Dippidi or wherever, we follow up. They either say not interested, don't worry about them, or they say I want to take a next step in some way, and then you jump in as you can take over the conversation as if you were the assistant, or you can just take it over as if you're the agent and say, hey, my assistant, let me know that you're ready for a call. Let's talk now, something like that. So with that, I hope that gives a full kind of story on how this all works together. But if not, we're going to have Q&A at the end, so you can ask some questions. But I did want to jump into a live demo right now. So we're actually going to demo from, can you still see my screen here?
Oh yeah, we're good to go.
Oh, yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
Cool. So we're going to dive into a live demo from Daniel's account here. A test lead, although he is using us and has some really good conversations. We just wanted to show off how it looks in Follow Up Boss. So again, want to mention Structurally and Dippidi works with all sorts of CRMs, not just Follow Up Boss. Just so happens that Daniel's using Follow Up Boss. Want to show you what it looks like from his account. So he just added a tag in this case called New AI Buyer to this lead. And that immediately kicked off the process to enroll this conversation or this lead into a new buyer conversation. In this case, Daniel just said, call me right off the bat as a test lead, which is fine. We handle that. So we just said, we'll be in touch. And then he kind of continued, mentioned something else. So this is our embedded app on the right-hand side in Follow Up Boss. This is really only available in Follow Up Boss. You can kind of see some other details here, like the lead did become agent ready or needs agent follow-up. But he could take over the conversation within Follow Up Boss as well. So if you really think about this for a second, this little pane of glass, this little window pane here is like having GPT AI in your Follow Up Boss to have conversations to qualify leads for you. If you're kind of spinning around, like, how do I use this? I'd really, I've experienced talking to Chat GPT myself. It'd be cool to follow up with my leads. This is as close as you're going to get, unless you build something yourself to handle all of the messaging infrastructure, the enrollment, the tagging, the stage updates.
Yeah, I'm gonna say good luck on that one.
a lot of stuff. That's kind of the blessing and the curse of GPT technology is it's a world of possibilities, but you kind of have to know how to build all those things, which is tricky if you just want to install an embedded app, or if you just want to send them off from your CRM to a GPT-like technology to qualify your leads. Structurally might be one of your answers. And what this might look like in another CRM is you can also see that we're adding these as notes as well. That's typically what it's going to look like in other CRMs. So we don't just say, hey, good luck, you got to log into Structurally. We're letting you see the conversation. We're letting you mute the lead as well. So if I just hit mute, well, I guess it is muted. But we do that with tags, so you can see that live. I think Structurally active is our muted tag in this case. So the AI is now active. So if I were to remove that, it would mute the AI. So that's kind of where you manage things within your CRM. We want you to see the conversation, be able to mute the conversation, and take over yourself and respond as the agent. And then another unique kind of characteristic that at least Austin and the Dippidi team is set up is this one. He set up an automation to basically say, alert the agent with a task and some other notifications when the lead becomes agent ready. So that's really important. We don't want to qualify a lead and then have it once again disappear into the ether. When that lead is qualified, we've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of work as the agent.
Yeah.
You want to close the deal. So that's a really important handoff.
Yeah, I want to talk through that a little bit more if I can. So a couple of things I'll set up is the automation to notify based off of tags. Another thing is that we set up the automated process for it to go to structurally. So if we know a certain lead source we're wanting to focus on, let's say we're running Google PPC campaigns for our clients, we're going to go ahead and set up those lead sources to automatically go on to structurally to be followed up with. So you don't have to manually add them to it. We set up this task right here for you to be notified. And what I would tell you too is that just because they're qualified and you see the conversation, it's also still this 2012 speed to lead mindset. The best thing you want to do is get on the phone with them as soon as you can, or reach back out via text as soon as you can to try to keep stirring up that conversation. There is an ability, if you have an appointment link, to provide it to structurally, so it can set you an appointment directly on your calendar if you use like a Calendly as an app. Some people don't manage that quite directly to their calendar. So I would say if you do, absolutely provide us with the Calendly link so we can give it to the AI to be able to try to actually set appointments for you outside of just getting them agent ready. But basically the other thing is that we handle all this onboarding for you, so you don't necessarily have to worry about it. A lot of times you may sign up and you'll go through the onboarding process, but we kind of handle that on your behalf.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great point. I think with that, just kind of want to hear Daniel's story now that we're in his account.
Yeah.
Learn a little bit about, I'll keep this up if you want to poke through anything or if anyone wants to just take this all in, but want to hear Daniel a little bit about how you're using this for yourself. I know you've been on track to close some pretty big deals. That's why we're here and really want to hear about that.
Yeah, Daniel, if you could give us a quick introduction to yourself, where you're at, and just how you got into real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Daniel Lowe. I'm out here in Los Angeles. I've been in real estate about 11 years. Going back to kind of like how I got hooked up with Dippidi and these guys, I recently made the change over from Compass to Side about a year ago. And one of the reasons I came over is, like most agents, my business has been about 99% just referral based. And besides kind of being sitting here waiting for people to call me, I want to do something that was more kind of proactive. My business manager at Side introduced me to Dippidi. I kind of went through their website. I saw some videos they had on YouTube where there was an agent in San Francisco who had done an additional $200,000 at GCI. And I was like, you know what, this seems like a no brainer. And then once I really kind of digging into the website, I also saw that they were hooked up with Structurally. And I kind of saw how the AI was working and how everything kind of was seamlessly come together. It really just made sense. Just like these guys were saying, one of my biggest pain points with the leads and referrals I was getting before was just that, hey, if they weren't in front of me and they weren't ready to either buy or sell a deal right now, I kind of pushed them off to the side and I wasn't really going to work them. And, as agents too, as we get busy, if we're out there, in the field or, showing property or just kind of tied up with, different escrows, it's hard to kind of manage all of that. To have something on the back end, I call her Hallie. my AI has a name. Have Hallie out there just working these things, even when I'm not really paying attention to it, and then contacting me when they're ready to go. It's just been phenomenal.
I love that. Yeah. So if you could talk to me a little bit about, what made our services stand out from the other options as you were researching.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing is that, I jumped on the phone with you guys, and you guys got back to me immediately. And every little question I had was answered without kind of, oh yeah, it'll work. No, here's a test case scenario. Here's what it will do. And this is how it's going to all kind of function together. And then just kind of the tools that I had in place, you guys all kind of brought them together, where I think other places I was looking at, or other options, it was okay, well, for example, okay, Structurally's over here and Follow Boss is over here, but you, Daniel, are going to have to put them together. Coming to you guys, it was a one-stop shop, just like you said earlier. You guys came in and, you set up Follow Up Boss, you set up Structurally, you set up all my notifications, and even, the tags. I mean, you kind of missed something over here too. It's really important. I go in here when the lead comes in, I can read the tags and see all this information, but I have multiple things going with you, Austin, right? I got Santa Monica, I got Encino, I got new construction. So when the lead comes in, I always look at that and I can pick up the phone, and when I call the lead, I know what they've hit. and what they're like, what they want to get from me outside of the conversation with Hallie. And you guys do all that. So
Yep.
it just made my life so much easier. Besides having to jump on a million emails and kind of put you guys together, make sure things happening, you guys do all that for me.
Yeah, and you actually spoke to that. It makes total sense that it did pass through my mind. But yeah, you do multi-channel. You have Google ads running with us, doing Google search campaign. You have Facebook and Instagram ads running, and they're for various areas and various places that you're farming to try to generate leads. So what we make sure we do is we structure that and organize that within the CRM before even passing it to structurally. We make sure that, like you said, you can see the tag, you can see the source. So you'll know it's from Facebook in a certain market. You'll know it's a new construction from Google. You'll know how that lead came in outside of even the conversation with the AI. We also have blogs running for you, doing a little bit of content creation. So that way you can have hyper local articles going on that we set up as remarketing. So the people that are coming in, they're conversing with the AI, they're then able to go back on Facebook and Instagram and see educational content to show that you are in fact a community leader as well through different pieces of content that we're creating and putting on your website. So our goal is to create that whole encompassing wheel to attract, re-engage, and delight everybody along the journey. And that's kind of the inbound marketing philosophy. But what are we currently doing to support your marketing efforts? Like, what has made you the happiest so far about working with us?
I mean, one of the big things when we first got on, I had another website that wasn't really working. The website wasn't requiring the lead to fill out email and phone numbers. And obviously without that, this is pointless. So you guys got together and recommended another website and got those guys on board, got that website built in about 2 weeks. And I mean, Christmas Eve, I'm on the phone with Jared and you, and you guys are launching this thing. So just support, just the ease of kind of getting to you guys. I love the blogs. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because not only did I'd have that on my website, but I'll take a screenshot of that and put a link in, and I'll post that on my Instagram, my Facebook, my LinkedIn, and I even have somebody else kind of turning that into an email campaign. So just everything's really useful. It's just it's the way you guys have kind of put it all together, and just the ease of use and be able to pick up the phone and talk to you directly or email Nate directly. It just just makes, like, once again, you make my job easy.
I love that. I love it. That's the goal, man. I mean, we value service. Both parties do. I can't tell you how many times I've already hit up Nate so far and been like, hey, I'm having an issue, and Nate's right there immediately. So that's the goal, is to just create this all-encompassing wheel on the back end to make it easy. But we try our best to hide it from you. So if there are problems, we fix it so you don't even have to worry about it, right? But so I guess ultimately now I kind of want to ask, one, what have we been able to achieve since having Dippidi and Structurally together? Talk to us a little bit about the results you've seen. You said it kind of got launched and going on Christmas Eve. We're only a month and a few days away from that. So in this month and 7 days, what has been going on? What have you been able to achieve with these conversations?
Man, it's been pretty amazing. I mean, Christmas Eve we launched, and I want to say within the first 48 hours, I had 4 or 5 hits, just immediately. And I don't know the exact number of the leads that have come in, but I can tell you that there's been 17 conversations with the AI. Some of them have said stop, right? But a vast majority have engaged the AI, and I've had about 4 to 5 right now that I'm speaking with currently. And the price points have been just anywhere from 800,000 to, I have one lead, which is fascinating, that Hallie was speaking to the lead, and it was like qualifying her, and she was asking, oh, I want a place with a view, and I want a pool. And she said, my husband, and just kind of wrote out, my husband found 2 houses on Roberta Lane that, she just absolutely loves. So I immediately, I'm seeing the conversation in real time. I jump on the MLS, like, what are the 2 active homes on Roberta Lane? And one's for 6 million, one's for 12 million. So it's just like, okay, well, let me kind of see where this goes. And I've now have taken over that communication, and I've been talking to her directly, a lead out of New York who's possibly thinking about coming out here. But
that's amazing.
Those are just kind of like, I mean, just like you said, speed of lead, right? So, if I'm out and I'm busy and I can't get to it, great that Hallie can jump on and get to it. But I always try to pick up the phone and get to them. But, even if I've had ones that was like 2-3 days later, and I just haven't been able to get back to them, and the AI will jump on it and qualify them. Next thing you know, I'm sending this person listings. I'm on the phone with them. I'm trying to get a meeting with them. But yeah, I mean, just really kind of powerful. And like I said before, it'd be hard for me on my own to really kind of jump on that and manage all that.
I love that, man. That's amazing to know, because I think you gave me a story how you were at like your kid's soccer game, or
Yeah.
and you were like, Hallie was responding and didn't qualify. You're like, this is insane. So
Yeah.
you brought up how you felt everybody needed to have this, should be included in everybody's package. And that's definitely something our goal is to try to make happen for everyone that comes to Dippidi, is to eventually have this in their package automatically. So
yeah, it's putting gasoline on what you guys are doing. It's almost like I don't think I would be able to, well, no, not think. I'm positive that the 4 or 5 that I'm talking to right now, I wouldn't have all of them if it wasn't for the AI being a part of the whole program. And the way you guys are kind of, like I said, coming together and, notifying me. I'm able to watch in real time. And even at the end, I don't know if you probably can't see it here on the screen, but I mean, it's a full on like sheet of like price point, bedrooms, are they qualified? Do they have a loan? Do they need a loan? Or even better, I mean, which is a great question, is do they need to sell to buy this one? So it's just, just better conversation than I could have.
I love that. I love that. Well, man, I appreciate you talking through that and just kind of letting everybody know a little bit about your experience with it. I think it's very impactful for everybody to hear and to kind of see it in real time of what the results are when you mix a lead generation company like Dippidi with an AI company like Structurally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I guess here's what it might look like, that sheet that you're talking about in Structurally, actually. But I also just wanted to see live what your results are like, so you can answer the question of how many leads are you responding.
There you go.
So yeah, seven need follow-up, like you said. That aligns with kind of what you're seeing, but definitely we'll start to see this engagement rate go up. We've seen that our engagement rate hits home, if that's the right term, after about 3 months. So you're about 1 month kind of into this. It usually takes 3 months of follow-up to really start to see that engagement tick up towards 57%. But that 57% engagement rate has stayed consistent for years at Structurally. I'm always amazed to go in and pull our stats, and it's always 57%. So obviously that doesn't mean everyone's right at that number. But I would fully expect yours to tick up here over the next few months. But
yeah, and also
like
I think this might be a little lower because, like I said before, the previous website wasn't requiring the lead to put in phone number and email.
Got it.
So yeah, I wish you go back and just look at what December was to now. I think it'd be a totally different number.
Yeah,
I agree.
Cool. Yeah, just kind of wanted to put some numbers to that as a just a little cherry on top, and so you could see them too. But yeah, do you have anything else, Austin, Daniel, that you wanted to cover? Otherwise, we can open up to Q&A.
Yeah. I think the big thing I'd want to talk to, I guess, would just be next steps. That in the event that anybody, watching this today, has interest in either working with Dippidi to generate you leads and have the AI, where we'll go in, we'll set up all your campaigns. We'll go ahead and onboard you with Structurally. We'll set up those automations based on the CRM you're in, to be notified, the whole nine. Absolutely reach out to us. You can go to dippidi.com/schedule a discovery call, and you can book a time right there where our team's there available for you to learn a little bit about your goals and try to see what's the best fit. I mean, we can do anything from just Google with AI. We could do Google, Facebook, Instagram AI. We could have you getting content created, YouTube. There's a whole bunch of services we offer. So definitely go check out dippidi.com/schedule a discovery call. And we'll get you set up with Structurally as well. Or if you just want AI, I highly recommend you reach out to Structurally directly at structurally.com/contact. But I'd love to jump in and open up to some Q&A to see if anybody has any questions.
Yep, I'm just letting people know they can ask in the chat or Q&A. I know we have a few questions already here, but Fire away. You got some experts on the panel here. You got Daniel closing $12 million deals here that were generated for pennies on the dollar, qualified by AI. We've been working in the GPT landscape for 6 years, and Austin's probably generated millions of leads. So now's your chance to ask. So fire away. I'll start from the top. Greg asked, I know you said that 17% of leads are qualified. How many are converting? Honestly, it's a tough question for us to answer. We've tried to figure it out for years and years. We don't get the data back from CRMs or MLSs or public records to say, hey, this lead started in structurally, actually converted. It's really hard to figure out. It's a little bit of a black box. But I mean, take Daniel here, take his example. Said you were talking to 17-ish, right? That wanted to kind of take a next step. 3, 4, 5 on track to close, probably.
Oh,
Is
easy.
that right? Yeah.
I mean, once again, this is Christmas Eve to now.
Yeah.
So I'm on a month in.
Right.
At this rate, yeah, for sure.
So that's 30 odd percent of qualified leads are converting to closed deals. And obviously that's a little bit on your side as the agent, as the team. Daniel's going to close it because he's a killer, but you gotta stay on top of it.
I would definitely say I recommend, like, when these people come in and it says it's either agent follow-up or they even schedule an appointment. Some people may not make that appointment. I get canceled on appointments all the time. Like, people set appointments on my calendar. So what I would tell you is you're now not having to sift through all the conversations, and you have a list you can focus on. So you're still going to have to reach out and do outbound calls more than likely. And you may not get them on the phone the first time. You may have to call them 3, 4 times or even more to get them back on the phone. But now you know who to focus on. So I don't know the answer to how many are converting. Nate, you would have been closer to be able to answer that than I would. But the fact that we can get 17% qualified over time, I think, is a pretty amazing thing. So you have a smaller list to focus on.
Yeah. One thing too that we built in structurally is to try and help answer this question. Oh, I don't think you have it. You might not. Austin does, but it's going to be a little bit weird in his account, is an ROI calculator. So we want, at least on the structurally side, we want to say, how many leads are you processing? You can put in your own appointment set to close ratio. You should know those things. Remember, I asked you to answer these questions early on in the presentation. So that's where we kind of want to help figure out how many dollars we're influencing for you. So then we take that average ratio times your average selling price to get pipeline influenced, and then by your average commission cut to get commission influenced. So this should give you a better idea. We have seen, based on this exact calculation across all of our users, that users of structurally average about a 21 times ROI. And that's using, I think, a 30, I can't remember what our default here is, like a 30% appointment set to close ratio. That's stats that we actually pulled from interviewing like 100 top teams. So we put that in as an average. Hit or miss, you can put it in, but using that info and the average selling price, I think a little lower, around 325, which is the nationwide average. Most of our users don't touch those numbers. So that's why I'm saying across all of our users, it's about 21 times ROI.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, with this right here, I actually was just playing with this. So it's this because my account's multiple different clients in it. So was just kind of messing around to see what I could do with the numbers. So that's pretty impressive if it's a 21x ROI.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Patrick asked, is there a way to automatically trigger a structurally conversation with my lender 2.5 weeks after the new buyer tag? It's a great question. I know we've probably been working with Patrick on this. He thinks on Boomtown. So we do have an integration with Boomtown, just so everyone knows as well. I can answer that from a more technical perspective. We just launched a feature that we called multi-conversations, which it sounds like how it sounds. You can have multiple conversations with the same lead over and over. So rather than being one and done, perfect example is what Austin said. We have a use case for no-show appointments. We get a lead qualified and then they no-show. Well, now you got to go chase them again. We actually have a script for that where you could re-enroll them in a no-show script through multi-conversations. So you could probably solve that, Patrick, with that multi-conversations feature where you could set up some automation, maybe in Boomtown, maybe somewhere else, where you could just apply a second tag to that lead after X time, 2.5 weeks. That is mortgage conversation, because structurally has mortgage qualifying conversations for refinance and new home loan, new home loan as well. So you could definitely have a conversation, a buyer conversation to start, and then either manually or automatically go in and just add another tag to re-enroll that same lead in another subsequent, totally different conversation. We want you to take as many stabs as you need at qualifying the lead with AI, which is pretty amazing, because rather than, oh, I got to start a whole nother conversation myself to qualify them, click a button, structurally does it for you.
Love it. So Doug asks a question here. He says, do you recommend Follow Up Boss higher than Lion Desk? You mentioned something that is only available using Follow Up Boss. So I think what he's referring to here is the embedded app, as well as like the automations that if you were to come through with Dippidi, we can set up to notify you when they reach a certain point in the pipeline with Structurally. Both CRMs are good, but with the embedded app that you have in the direct integration into Follow Up Boss, if you were wanting to get Structurally, I would more than likely recommend Follow Up Boss at that point.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The embedded app is pretty powerful. Follow Up Boss is one of the only platforms that actually lets anyone do anything like that. So if that's a kind of a deal breaker, then make the switch. If not, it's up to you. It is hard to switch CRM, so wouldn't just recommend doing that for fun.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. If a lead tells you it's a wrong number, but you have more than one, can you re-engage and start the chat over to try a new phone number?
Yep. It is solved a couple different ways. You could just recreate the lead with the right phone number in your CRM. If that ends up resulting in a merge, then like a merge of that old lead with the new lead, but fixing the phone number, you could then use that multi-conversations feature that I mentioned, because technically what's going to happen on that first attempt with the wrong number is, because Structurally also emails leads, we will actually email them so long as they have an email. And then we would say, hey, phone number is either invalid or wrong, but still be going out over email. So that's like, okay, obviously you want to text and you know that the number is wrong. What I'd recommend then is merging it in your CRM, making sure the phone number is right, and then re-enrolling it, like I said, in that new multi-conversations feature, just with the same script again. And it might make it a little weird on the email because we might send a few of the same drips out, but it will be a brand new, fresh buyer, for example, conversation on the text thread. So hopefully that answers. That's a little confusing because we do text and email, but yeah, you just kind of need to clean it up and re-enroll it, and it should be off to the races. And we don't ask if they were to have answered over email. With Structurally's multi-conversations feature, it actually takes into account anything they might have answered over email and does not ask that again over text. So it's contextually aware of the answers that it's already been given. So it doesn't sound weird. Exactly.
Gotcha. Looks like Aaron said thank you for that he was wondering. So you're welcome, Aaron.
Cool. Awesome.
And as of right now, that is the last question we had. If anybody has any more, fire away real quick, but looks like there are no more questions at this time.
Yeah. I think Greg maybe is asking if it's $500 a month. I don't know if that's about Structurally, Lion Desk, Follow Boss, something else, Dippidi. But we do have pricing available on structurally.com. If you kind of go through the account setup process, you can see it there. But Otherwise, talk to Austin via the link there, or structurally directly at structurally.com/connect to learn about those.
Yeah, let me drop you a link here, Greg. I just sent that over to you, Greg. You should be able to see the link to get to schedule a call. I'd love to chat with you, talk through pricing. We do have some packages that may be right at $500 a month for service to get PPC with the AI follow-up as well.
Cool. Yeah, I think that answers all the questions. I think this was awesome. We are almost exactly right where I wanted to be. 4 minutes early. I said 50 minutes. We're at 46 minutes right now, but I think that's perfect.
Amazing. Daniel, thank you so much for the time today, man. It was awesome to just learn more about your experience and get to hear it. I think one of my favorite things ever is getting that phone call from you when you were freaking out about it all. So thank you so much for taking the time.
No, anytime. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it, Daniel. This has been awesome. And everyone, this recording will be sent out in the next day or two. Can also give you these slides if you want. So you can watch this back and learn about how awesome Daniel's using this and everything we're doing with Structurally and Dippidi. So appreciate it, everyone. Thanks, Austin. Thanks, Daniel, again. Let us know if you have any questions from the links you see here, and we'll take care. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you. See you, everybody.
See ya.
Bye, guys.